A short time ago, the sheriff here confirmed that there was a relationship between the church behind me and the shooter. We are told now that the parents of the shooter's ex-wife worshiped here. They were not at church yesterday, but they do worship at First Baptist Church. We also learned a short time ago that between 12 and 14 of the dead are children, 8 of those killed from the same family. Overnight, the quiet town of Sutherland Springs, Texas, trying to come to grips with the nation's latest horrific mass shooting. More than 24 people were killed during Sunday services at this small Baptist church. The victims ranging in age from 5 to 72 years old. Law enforcement officials tell NBC News the shooter was 26-year-old Devin Patrick Kelly, dressed all in black, wearing tactical gear, and armed with a Ruger AR rifle. He started firing outside the church and then entered the building, opening fire on parishioners.
As he exited the church, a local resident grabbed his rifle and engaged that suspect.
After being confronted, Kelly dropped his weapon and ran. Police later found him dead in his car from a gunshot wound, although at this point it's not clear if he took his own life or if he was taken down by that local citizen. One of the men who tracked down the alleged killer is Johnny Langendorf.
They said that there was a shooting. I pursued, and I just did what I thought was the right thing.
A former member of the U.S. Air Force, Kelly received a bad conduct discharge in 2014, and in 2012, he was court-martialed for assaulting his spouse and their child. For now, his motive in Sunday's mass shooting remains a mystery. Outside the church, witnesses and loved ones embracing, describing the devastating scene. One woman telling MSNBC 4 of her grandchildren were inside when the shots rang out.
My son was helping him up at the church. He said there was bodies on top of bodies, and they were having to move the bodies to see if anybody underneath was alive or breathing or anything.
Among the dead, 14-year-old Annabelle Pomeroy, the adopted daughter of the church's pastor who was out of town at the time of the shooting.
Do not lean.
Pastor Frank Pomeroy is normally behind the pulpit.
We serve a God that's greater than any normality that we think we know.
His sermons uploaded on YouTube. Now, in the wake of the tragedy, residents in this tiny Texas town are coming together.
We started praying for everyone that was involved in it.
On an overseas trip, President Trump was briefed on the incident, speaking from Japan overnight.
All of America is praying to God to help the wounded and the families of the victims. We will never, ever leave their side.
In a separate news conference overseas with Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, President Trump said that what happened here in Texas isn't about guns, this is about mental health. I asked the sheriff about that sentiment. He agreed. He does not think that this is an issue of guns. Meanwhile, they are going to continue to pour over the shooter's social media accounts. Guys, back to you.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.